Welcome to the TCK podcast with Nick and George. This is episode number 1. The one you previously watched was episode number 000, which was a test function that we remain to be seeing. And today we're going to be talking about all the different types of dietary food options, the differences between real food and fake food, what we've done, and some things we've heard about. So let's get into it.
All right, sounds good. So we were just kind of talking off camera about my intro to real food, because for years, my entire life, my family has grown up eating the standard American diet. So high sugar, high carb, very processed, more about convenience and, quote unquote affordability, which we can get into that's not really true.
Yeah,
In
no,
fact,
not at
it's
all.
backwards thinking, and we're here to help decipher through all of that. And so what's your question for me?
Well, I had a very similar upbringing. So I had the whole Mickey D's on a Saturday night kind of thing, and convenience food like mac and cheese all the time and stuff.
Microwavable mac and cheese, which, by the way, I am the only person on earth to mess that up.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've done it too. I melted the bowl.
Okay, I didn't melt the bowl, but
Oh.
I definitely overcooked everything.
Oh no, I melted that bowl. They say it's microwave safe, but I don't know if it's me safe. It's just, they haven't come out with anything for me. But so yeah, I've had a lot of experiences with different types of food. Like I discovered I had allergies to MSG, and basically what the MSG will do to me is it basically shuts down my whole body. So I end up with a excruciating migraine, nausea, Crohn's-like symptoms for days after that, simply from eating a Tyson chicken nugget.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Chinese food always did it for me.
Yep.
Or KFC.
Oh yeah,
KFC
KFC too.
It was bad.
Oof.
In fact, an old remedy, if we couldn't go to the bathroom, have some KFC or Chinese food, and within 10 minutes, you're good.
Yep. I can personally attest to that. It's terrible. Because, the worst parts that I've ever had with my dietary things was when I was working a lot or when I just was being lazy. When I was younger, I just didn't care. I actually did Mickey D's and BK challenges where no one was challenging me. I was challenging my own self. So I would go and see how many chicken nuggets I could eat at once or how many cheeseburgers I could eat at once, and then just brag about it on the internet and listen to all the people's opinions. And
that was your bulking phase, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get big?
Yeah, but it was...
See, it worked well.
It was going... It wasn't like ding, ding. But my record was 60 chicken nuggets.
Wow. That's
Two...
impressive, actually.
Yeah, 2 cheeseburgers and 2 large fries and a drink in a sitting. It was terrible. I was not proud of it. I was proud of the amount of food that I could eat, but then I sat there, with my mammoth stomach just, and it was like, oh man, what have I done? And I couldn't move. I couldn't go to the bathroom for like a week. It was just overall terrible, and that was the last time I ever did that, because the times before that I had like 20 or 30, but this time I had 60. And it was
a lot of food.
it was a ton of food, but it was all crap. And then actually it was like a week later I found out about what was actually in chicken nuggets.
You mean it's not real meat?
No, it's a pink slime, they call it. I think there's actually a quote from Mickey D's, the headquarters, something they call it the pink slime.
They do. They do.
It's not actual meat at all. But the biggest issue that I found in this is that people don't understand the representation that they're setting forth to their children or to anybody else, for that matter. We do have documentaries out there like Super Size Me and things like that. They kind of show negative side effects over a month of only eating McDonald's, but that's not realistic.
Yeah, and there was even a small study done with a family who was eating a lot of processed GMO foods, and they simply, the only thing they did was take GMOs out of the diet, and their toxicity levels dramatically went down.
Yes.
Which is an unbelievable thing. Just one family, so it is like an N equals 1, but it's definitely eye-opening just to see the effect on one family.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it can happen so quickly too, because now with the developments in propaganda techniques, now we have. But it started with corn being used as ethanol fuel.
Yep.
So we had all these warring factions talking about how ethanol fuel is going to make cornflakes go up in price and all this other stuff. But what they don't realize is that ethanol is bioalcohol. It's not necessarily only from corn. You can make it from many different things. But the amount of corn that's actually grown in the U.S., or soy that's actually grown in the U.S., is mostly GMO. I forget the actual...
I think it's upwards to almost 99%. It's pretty close. Don't quote me on the statistic, but it's up there. It's in the high 90s for sure.
I'm going to agree with you on
Same
that.
thing with cottonseed. It's up there as well as mostly GMO. So if you're going to consume those, which again another topic, I wouldn't even recommend consuming those just by chance of contamination. Make sure it does say non-GMO.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. In my vegetarian experiment that I mentioned before, my diet before that point, it mainly consisted of stuff like Hamburger Helper and shepherd's pie, stuff like that. Especially in the wintertime, I wanted heavy food, so I would go and I switched from eating like red meat to eating ground turkey or ground chicken or something like that. But mainly what I was eating was processed carbs, refined sugar, and meat. That was my entire diet. So the negative side effects were vast. So when I switched, it was extremely difficult for me to eat vegetables at all. My body didn't want them. It would make me feel sick. I didn't know what was going on because I'm thinking to myself like, okay, well, I'm eating vegetables. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing what I need to do to grow big and strong. And I don't even have an airplane feeding me right now. So I don't know what's going on here.
Open the hatch.
It almost came to that, too. Eat your beans. No. I don't want it. But
your girlfriend's hiding them in your mashed potatoes. I can see it.
Actually, I did that once when I was a baby. When I was a little tyke, there's a picture of me holding up a bowl that had a stegosaurus in it. And I stood in my high chair and I said, no ballies. And they were peas. I did not want peas. I only wanted green beans. French cut green beans from the can, that's what I wanted. And if that wasn't happening, then I was not eating them. I threw them across the kitchen. And my mom took a picture of me. So there is proof. I'll see if I can put it in the video. If not, then too bad. So mainly my diet, it was absolutely atrocious. It was terrible. I was in and out of the doctor's office for a number of different things. And then when I switched over to vegetarian stuff or making healthier choices, I didn't realize the effect that GMOs had in the marketplace. Yeah. So even if it doesn't say GMO or non-GMO, you still don't know, especially on produce.
Yeah, and labeling is a huge issue too. The fact that we don't know what's in our food is a huge topic, and one we could definitely cover more in depth. But right now, I think just to kind of hone it back, I had a very similar experience with that. Just saying I had the same style of diet. A lot of Hamburger Helper, a lot of processed carbs in my diet, a lot of pizza. I didn't realize the sensitivities, and I say sensitivities because I don't have full-blown allergies. There's a big difference between the two.
Totally.
That I have toward a lot of the top allergens. When I decided, going back, I had a lot of knee problems. I was in the military for 2 years. I was a military police officer. And I dislocated my knee pretty bad. And the orthopedic surgeon said I had the knee of a 65-year-old man. And the arthritis to boot. So at the time I was 19. I'm like 19 years old with a 65-year-old knee. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I had a kid at the time. I had my first child at 19.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how am I going to be? I can't even get up a set of stairs, let alone be able to run with her and play whatever it is, chase her around the house. So I'm like, something has to change. It took me 2 years where I found my mentor, who was discussing a ketogenic diet. And for those of you who don't know what a ketogenic diet is, it's a high-fat, healthy fat diet with low carbs, and it requires you removing, things like grains, gluten, dairy, a lot of soy, a lot of and processed foods, sugar. And I'm like, well, would that help my knee? He goes like, well, I don't really know Why don't you try it and let me find out and let me know how it goes? I'm like, why not? So I read the book Primal Blueprint by Mark Sisson. That has become my Bible. I still swear by that. There's everything in it, no matter how old that book gets. The truth is definitely in there. It talks about GMOs and he describes ancestral eating in a way that makes it simple for everybody to actually do. It's not super heavy on the science, which is what I like. And I love science, and I've read some pretty heavy books on food and science, but I cut all of them out, and I don't recommend this for everybody. Cut them out little by little so you can transition and get your body get used to it. I cut it all out at once. Dude, I had flu-like symptoms. I was legitimately detoxing from everything for 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was rough. But let me tell you, that third week, I felt amazing.
Yep.
And I've never been a big guy, but I was definitely inflamed, overweight. I had a gut. They call it the daddy belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it. I'm like, I'm not going to end up like this. I can't end up like this. There's something wrong. For years, I had IBS symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Never full-blown IBS, but I definitely had the symptoms. I never knew why. Well, guess what? I am lactose intolerant. I am casein intolerant. I'm gluten sensitive. I get massive headaches 10 minutes after consuming even a little bit of gluten. Soy makes me nauseous.
Yep.
Even eggs that have, chickens that have been fed with soy feed.
Yep.
I can tell I cannot eat regular organic eggs because a lot of them have a soy feed in them. I can't do it. I have to go with the 100% pasture-raised eggs.
And that's the way to do it.
Yeah, but that dietary change alone, and Nick was asking me off camera whether I was primal, paleo, or whatever. I am not in any of those groups. I started off primal, very proud, primal. Then I started off, after that, I went paleo, and I found that I was becoming very neurotic, and I was being way too picky about food to the point where it was becoming a psychological thing, and the stress